Morning, guys. Steve here from N2Flow Digital Asset Management. I'm here with Jonah, the CMO of Metis. Welcome, mate. Pleasure to have me at such short notice after some exciting news within your company and the corporation of Metis. So, mate, can you tell me a brief little description about yourself? Just give me a little intro.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I haven't been in the space that long. I was a marketing guy covering all kinds of areas, real estate, education, various tech, lots of financial markets, but not crypto per se. And then started getting some gigs sort of adjacent to the industry. Like I was a one-man marketing firm taking on gigs. And then through a mutual friend who knew Alina Sinilnikova, who's the CEO and co-founder of Metis, that friend said, that would actually be a good gig. You should apply to do marketing there. I applied. This is a true story. I interviewed with Alina. She liked me so much that not only did she hire me on the spot, she literally took me from that meeting to another meeting with potential partners, and I was on the job. And it happened fast. I went from being just like an entry-level part-time marketing associate to chief marketing officer, and then they made me head of business development for good measure. This is somebody who's not blockchain or crypto native, by the way. They just felt like I'm a get-along guy, I'm a nice guy, I'm high energy, and I try to pick up concepts fast. And I think that they recognize that there actually isn't that much available talent who are totally fluent in blockchain, so they're looking for kind of the best of the best elsewhere. I don't want to say that I'm the best of the best, but they were happy with me, and that was 8 months ago. I'm still here.
Yeah, mate, that's awesome. And, a credit to you. Like, I've noticed a lot of things with a lot of corporations and crypto funds that I touch and research into. And honestly, between everything that I've experienced in the past and then the support, not just the support, but how much energy and the response time that you give to everyone in the Telegram, and I'm sure everyone that's going to watch this will agree. And like for me to be able to message you and say, hey, man, do you want to jump on a call? Like, that has never happened with me personally in any other massive investment.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's an absolute attribute to yourself,
Oh, well, thank you. And by the way, that's the example that I think Norbert set. So Norbert is actually the first employee of the company. There were the founders, and Norbert came to them more than a year ago. He just celebrated his 1-year anniversary and said, nobody knew about Metis then. Like, it was proposing some sort of DAO something or whatever. I don't know how he got wind of it, but he reached out to the founders and said, I want to be a community manager. They said, cool, you're in. And he was the first guy, and he works tirelessly. He's so smart. He's so enthusiastic. He's so great. And I feel like we have no hierarchy in this company. There's really I'm nominally CMO, but I'm not really. We try to refer to ourselves as blah, blah, lead, blah, like something is a lead. The only person who has to have a C-level title is Alina. Everybody else is just whatever. Yeah. It's very flat. We all learn from each other. And so he has set a really good example, and all I'm trying to do is follow through on the great example that he set and all of my teammates set.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see that for like the new guys that come into the Telegram group, even the Discord, they get response time super fast, especially from Norbert. It's just at Norbert, like, and that for a newbie, I know for a couple of people within my own venture that I do, when they've gone to purchase Metis or they've gone to the Telegram group, they've got a response time straight away. So it's that's a massive.
Shout out to David, by the way, on Discord. He's really great too. And to answer your question specifically about me on Telegram, I just like it. Like I consider, I haven't met my Metis teammates any more times in person than I've met anybody in the community. I've met them 0 times. I've met you guys 0 times. So to me, it's all, virtual friendships or whatever you call it. I know the personality, like I know the handles, I know the personalities, I know the guy who kind of gives us a hard time. I know this, I know that. Yeah. And it's just fun to dialogue every day. And it doesn't all have to be kind of butt kissing either. Some people come to us and they're like, this isn't working. This should happen. This should happen. We're like, cool. Okay, let's see what we could do. We really try to be humble and, lean on our community, who frankly have been in the industry probably longer than I have. Yeah. Come up with the best ideas and try to implement them. We're about to announce a partnership this week. Flat out, it came from a community member. He's like, you should talk to so-and-so. And then we did, and now we're going to partner with them. This happens all the time. It's so cool. I feel like our Telegram community, Twitter too, but especially Telegram, they're just extensions of the team. It's really great.
Yeah, and it is good to see. And, communities do help build projects. Yeah. It's evident in this new crypto blockchain decentralized space that, we're heading towards a metaverse or wherever we're going, decentralized companies, and just the infinite potential that we have within this space. It's just good to see no blanket over the top of it. We can just do whatever and go wherever and push it. So,
well, I think one thing I wanted to emphasize too. So we just came out with a decentralization roadmap it's tomorrow in Australia. So it came out on November 9th, I guess. I don't know when the video is coming out. And the premise of it is basically laying out exactly the steps we're going to take toward decentralization. Nobody, not Optimism, Arbitrum, certainly not Polygon, their commit chain, but none of the other scaling solutions are proposing this. A year from now, we will literally be a 100% decentralized company. In other words, our founders and our team or whatever, their imprint will be on the company and it will be over. It will run as this truly decentralized company. So that's really, really exciting for us. Everybody talks about decentralization, but this is actually what we intend to do. And everybody from the top down are into it, but it's, certainly our tech team led by our tech lead, Yuan Su, who's fantastic. Like, this is what they're building. They're not only talking about it, but they're physically building the mechanisms, whether it's sequencer pool, peer nodes, MVM, all this tech stuff that's going to make it so that there really is almost no company. It's just this thing self-subsists and the community benefits and the community decides. That's how governance is done. It's really, really exciting. Yeah. And for somebody who isn't from this space, it's like, it's mind-blowing to me because I come from the real world, from Web 2. So to see this in action is really, really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I believe I saw the, there was a sheet that you guys put out on, I'm not sure if it was on your Twitter, I'm just having a look at the moment. And it was in regards, maybe it was one of the members, and it was, oh, here we go. It's the infrastructure for the Web3 world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got your dApps, the DAC framework, Polis middleware, and the infrastructure and the layers that all go within that. Like, you've got your DEX, Tribe and Launchpad, the DAC framework with voting, task management, knowledge management, finance, payroll, bridging, mining, investment, token requests, like,
yeah,
your own wallet. Like, you've got this entire ecosystem that is it's gonna hold everything within its framework. So it's yeah, mate, like me as an investor, I won't even call myself an early investor because I don't believe I was that early, but at the same time, like, I think I'm early leading into this first point that you've just launched Genesee, the $100 million ecosystem DAC. That, given that the Metis has I think it's a $30 million market cap at the moment, you've just launched something that's the same equivalent of
right.
to go out and select, like, have the team sift through and select and onboard projects that want to build on top of Metis purely. Is it going to be, if you're onboarding via the DAC, I don't know, is it Natalia that's leading the, or she's the lead of the DAC?
We have to be careful about terminology here. So it is a DAC, not a fund. We should say that right off. Yep. Natalia Ameline is I guess you could call her the coordinator of the DAC and kind of the person who is involved in discussions in terms of funding grants through the DAC. It's specifically earmarked for companies of blockchain or Web 2, but starting with blockchain, that want to join the Metis ecosystem. So that is what the $100 million is for. But it is very much a decentralized autonomous company. So Natalia is the coordinator, and we have a couple of other team members in this DAC, but they're part of this large committee. So 6 of our original VC partners, who are all great, are all on this committee. Aside from the fact that they're throwing money into it, they're friends of ours. We know them well. They know the space so well. And there's kind of a talent identification thing going on, a lot of due diligence. Like, our goal, there's a lot of scaling solutions out there. Our goal is we literally want to be the hub for the Web3 economy. So, the layer 2 comes first, and then we've got our no code middleware, right? And then we're building these DACs. And so a DAC to fund other DACs, or to fund other companies that turn into DACs, is really exciting. So yeah, Natalia will be coordinating, but it's going to be members of these VCs. It's going to be some team members, and everything will be decided in a very decentralized way. There's, decentralized governance, voting, and so forth. And it's going to be, yay or nay. We're looking for the highest quality projects. And I want to emphasize another thing too. I think that in this space, people really, really get obsessed with, like, are you partnering with a top 10 or a top 20 CMC ranking project? Of course we will. We're talking to all those guys. That will happen. But we want to really come across to people and explain to them that what we're offering is not something that you see elsewhere. If you think about, like, the traditional stock market or even blockchain, it's always whales, it's always insiders, right? They get the IPOs or the IDOs or whatever you call them, and nobody else does. Once we're launched and everything is out, we've got DACs running and stuff, regular people will have access to tokenization events, to layer 2 native assets that you couldn't have before. So when we partner with blah, blah, blah protocol and nobody knows who they are and they have 10,000 Twitter followers and whatever, you're like, we've already vetted them. We know their tech is great. We know their team is great. And we believe that they have a chance to be a unicorn, and we're going to help them get there with tech, with marketing, and yes, the ecosystem DAC, if they wish to partake in that, is an opportunity too. So we want people to kind of rethink a little bit. It's not a deflection. Like, we fully intend to go after the big guys too, but I really want people to understand the value prop of bringing in these younger companies. That was us like a few months ago. And of course, we've seen what our, I'm not allowed to talk about the token, but you've seen what's happened to our project in the last few months. Imagine if you could get in on us before our IDO and then this happened. That would be very exciting. So that's kind of what we're going for. And the ecosystem DAC will play a big role in that, of course.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. And like, I have a quick question. I'm not sure if it's leading in like sort of the similar topic, but with the launchpad in the DAC, those companies that you onboard, like let's say it's a startup company, and obviously you guys have vetted them and done it, everything like you just said that they've gone through, and you love the tech and their product may be about to launch. Will the launchpad, if they've exclusively signed and built on Metis, will the launchpad that you guys have once everything's live be hosting that individual tokens, like initial IPO sort of launch? Is that?
So we will not have our own launch pad, nor will we have our own DEX, by the way.
Yeah.
There's two mechanisms right now that we foresee. There could be more, whatever, we're open to whatever. But for now, there are two ways that we could see tokenization events occurring based on the partnerships that we've already signed. One is the Paid Network. So Paid Network is a pretty well-known launchpad incubator, whatever you want to say. They have one called Paid Ignition. They have another one called Apollo X. They were one of our first partners. We IDO'd with them. They sent us several KOLs who still work with us and are friends and whatever, and that's all good. We're close with Kyle. We're close with all those people. They're all lovely. So they are going to very soon integrate those launchpads onto Metis Layer 2. They will exist on Metis Layer 2. So forget about the Ethereum gas fees. They're going to be gone initially, like a buck or two. And then once we're fully deployed and IPFS is out, like a few cents. So they're excited. We're excited. That's step one. But step two, and again, third-party company. Step two will be there's a third-party DEX, a decentralized exchange called NetSwap. So NetSwap, once it launches, will be the first real layer 2 DEX that has ever existed. That's not a thing, right? Uni and Sushi, and they're all great, but they're not layer 2 per se. These guys are layer 2. They'll have layer 1 assets as well, but they're focused on layer 2. Third-party company project that will build on Metis layer 2. So what's going to happen is you'll have basic DEX infrastructure. You want to swap Ethereum for Metis or this or that, that's fine. But then all those other projects that are in our ecosystem, if they're already tokenized, they can, they'll be able to trade on NetSwap, and new ones can come in and tokenize on NetSwap too. So that will create launchpad functionality as well. So we're going to get into staking in a second. I know that that's something you're going to talk about, but that staking will occur there, and basic swap functionality and launchpad will occur there. So there will be multiple ways for our partners to be able to tokenize and launch and so forth. And by the way, any DAC can tokenize. Any DAC. You and 5 friends can say, okay, we're the cheeseburger DAC. You have a cheeseburger coin, and that's it. It might not go anywhere, but you certainly have that capability. That's one of the functionalities that will be available once our DACs are fully deployed. It's really, really exciting.
I mean, mate, I have my own personal things that I'm looking at. I've got a series of NFTs with another site that we've built out nearly 100 now that we're ready to set and launch. But I was going to mint them on OpenSea. I was looking at other things like on Solana. And then I'm an investor in Metis. Yeah, exactly right. And then, being, for myself and for people watching this video that might be in a similar position or not, realizing that I can stake my holdings within my own decentralized autonomous company in Metis to earn more Metis, but then also put my NFTs on and build out my entire, my system within that. It's a no-brainer.
I just want to make clear for people who don't quite understand the whole synergy of the situation. So first is you're a project, you deploy onto our layer 2, okay, you're in. So each transaction that is that takes place on our layer 2 must be paid in Metis tokens, exactly the same way that in the Ethereum ecosystem would be ETH. They're going to be very cheap, as I mentioned. Eventually there'll be a few cents. In addition, every single DApp, every DApp that is deployed on Metis Layer 2 or a DApp that's performing transactions, as they're generating revenue, like let's say it's a DeFi protocol and they come onto our platform, every single time that they do anything, they're generating Metis token rewards.
Yeah.
So now they're paying in Metis, they're generating Metis, they can form DACs, which also require Metis to function. They're massively incentivized to stay on our layer 2. We fully intend to make withdrawal time very quick, like much quicker than our competition, hours and eventually minutes.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, the goal is like, why don't you stick around a bit? Do you really need to go back to layer 1? How about you form a DAC? Pull up a chair, let's do a thing. What if we introduce you to these guys? It's really to build this whole economy. So obviously, we're going to make it easy for people to withdraw assets from L2 to L1 if they choose to, but in a perfect world, they'll just stick around.
Yeah, and I know there's not exactly 5 million tokens in circulation at the moment, given there's lockups and pre-seed and angel investors,
right.
etc. But there's also 5 million put away for mining rewards over a period of time.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years to give everyone a
very, very, very scarce tokens apply. Bitcoin, Bitcoin's lovely for many reasons, but obviously the 21 million is great. We're 10 million, and half of those you won't see for a decade. So, and we're not 5 million out yet. So it's a very, very scarce token. Yeah. On purpose. This is what we did on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Once this launches, and then those, like you said, those DApps or DACs start to perform transactions, and they're getting paid builder mining rewards. As a friend of mine said, Adrian, in the previous video, you're essentially paying them to use the network.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yes.
It's the value of this project blows my mind when I think about where it could go, and then how incredibly undervalued it currently is.
I know. Well, I can't say that, but sure. Okay, go ahead and say that.
In terms of like the bull market, or whether we go up and Bitcoin does the thing and goes down, and whether we saturate, and everyone talks about everything at the end of this and whatever. But when you find something like this, with fundamentally it's just solid and sound, and has all these different features that you can use in a real world use case. You're solving a solution on the market. You're probably solving and doing all these things, and then the tokenomics just scream price action. I mean, that for me is it's incredible. And if you want to touch on staking now,
Sure.
and I'll quickly mention out of good faith, everyone has been talking about a token unlock coming on the 13th. There are tokens getting unlocked, with pre-seed investors and stuff, which is natural for any token. I'm not sure why there's still a stigma around any token within the ecosystem, especially with strong fundamentals, why the price would depreciate. And it's in my opinion, like if I was hanging on for a token for 6 months as a pre-seed investor and I was up, and then you guys were about to launch the main product that you've been working on in the next period of time, like are you really going to liquidate your holdings 3 days, or say 4 days before you've been waiting for 6 months? I'm like, come on, really?
Here's the other thing I will say, and I'm going to be careful the way that I say it. I'm just going to make a statement of fact. Go to the chart. There's a big unlock every 3 months. So the one before it was August 13th. Go to the chart and look at what happened between August 13th, which was the last major token unlock, and September 7th. That's all I'm going to say. I say nothing more than that. I make no predictions. I offer no financial advice. I am simply stating, go back in time and look at what happened during that period of 3 weeks, and then come back to me.
Man, I'm scared I won't be able to buy any more, because with I know there's a token unlock, but with staking coming out, a period of time after Andromeda launches next week, 29,000% APY, which obviously will get diluted naturally as we all stake on the system. That's normal. That's a natural thing to happen. But with everything that you've said, I just, like a lot of people that ask me questions, especially about Metis, what does it do? And they ask me the big question, like, what is Andromeda? What is it? And what is the importance of it? I think because there was a period of time where we were using the word testnet, and then obviously you ran the competition, and that's another thing I give credit to Metis, is running all these competitions, not just the hackathon, but the Reddit competition to reward guys to post our Reddit stuff and engage the community and things, and then someone got to pick the name and they won Andromeda.
That was fun, and it was like she was maybe 20, and she was from oh gosh, maybe Indonesia. Like it was not like, okay, it's a, all respect, but it wasn't like a 51-year-old investment banker named Doug from New York. You know what I mean? It was somebody, this is the point of our project, right? Is that it's inclusive, that it's about the community or whatever. There's nothing wrong with 51-year-old investment bankers named Doug, but it's a very diverse project. We're female founded, obviously, from Alina. Like me, this thing here, this is the minority. I'm not the normal person. And for this space, for tech, and especially blockchain, that is abnormal to have such a diverse group. We're in Canada, Russia, Ghana, Ukraine, Australia, India, UK. Yeah, you should meet Mike. He's in Australia. He's great. So we've got a great team. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, nice, mate. It's yeah. I mean, Andromeda, naming obviously the testnet. I see the words get thrown around: testnet, Andromeda, mainnet. So if we can just touch on this last,
Sure.
Andromeda, what is it in a quick super summary in terms of what you're releasing and the capability of what we can do from next week going forward for anyone that's watching this video? What are we?
Sure. So I'm going to pull up the post so I make sure I have everything. So
yeah, no, go for it.
We were distinguishing between testnet and mainnet beforehand, but if you think about the way that, for instance, and we're patterned after Ethereum, right? We're a layer 2 Ethereum rollup. What Ethereum ended up doing was basically just calling things by proper names, often the name of the city in which they, did the fork or performed the coding or whatever. So London and so forth. And so we thought, well, it's kind of pointless to talk about this mainnet, testnet, or whatever, like, especially since we realized that Andromeda, or what became Andromeda, would enable staking of real assets, right? Real Metis tokens would be staked. So even if you didn't have the full functionality of a mega mainnet, you're live. These are live assets. So it becomes silly to call it testnet, and by extension, it becomes silly to call it mainnet 1.0, 2.0, or whatever. The other thing that I will say, by the way, is I guess I'm giving you alpha. So we were not originally going to enable partnerships right away. We were going to do that in the next iteration after Andromeda. Our tech team, which is awesome, not only figured out a way to do EVM equivalents, which is massive and makes it way easier for dApps, not only figured out a way to maintain decentralization during EVM equivalents, which Optimism said, we don't care, just trust us, and they became centralized, which we did not like, by the way. But we will actually have live partners. There will be live partners integrated onto Metis soon after Andromeda. We're having integration meetings right now. I just had one today. I had nothing to do with it because I don't know anything. Our tech team did. But I sort of sat there and smiled and said, sounds good. Anyway, so that's all very exciting. So what else is going on in Andromeda? So we talked about the staking. What people will be able to do about a week after the launch of Andromeda. Andromeda launches the week of November 15th. So figure probably the week after that is you'll be able to form a DAC. So a DAC is a decentralized autonomous company. We sort of touched on DACs a little bit before. It's going to enable, people will be able to do whatever they want on chain. So every functionality in the real world, whether it's your ERP and CRM software, you're running payrolls, you're doing messaging, you're hiring people, whatever, you'll be able to do all that on chain. We will be taking the best open source Web 2 stuff, stuffing it into DAC infrastructure, and giving people the ability to literally just do everything on chain with dirt cheap transactions, data that's not fragmented anymore because it benefits from blockchain. You're native, you're generating Metis token rewards. Like, we are trying to heavily incentivize people, as you said, to build on chain. So initially, DACs will not have all that functionality. The purpose of staking, yes, of course, it's nice if number go up and people get money. That's cool. But ultimately, what we aim to do is to introduce people to the concept of DACs. So we want them to physically form a DAC, which is quite easy. Basically, you take your smart wallet, MetaMask or whatever. We'll have a portal. You're going to connect your smart wallet to the portal. It looks like a Web 2 interface. You go boop, 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 and you've got a DAC. And you start staking. So we will be offering tutorials, and we'll have kind of like a countdown. We'll talk about everything that's going on, and people will be able to understand how they do it. So that will occur. Yes, you talked about the starting APY. This will be single stake, so you'll be able to stake Metis tokens for Metis token rewards. There is no minimum. You could stake for 10 minutes if you want to. That's fine. The only thing is, if you unstake before the end of the staking program, you have to pay a 10%, whatever you want to call it, penalty, only on your rewards, not on your original bag, obviously. But if you stake 2,000 tokens and you make whatever it is, 20 tokens, then 2 tokens would go back into the kitty, basically.
Yeah.
And those get redistributed among the DAC. And then at the end, if there's more redistribution to be done, it goes to charity, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So that staking will be available for a certain amount of time. And then once NetSwap, which I talked about, the third-party decentralized exchange launches, staking will occur over there. So in addition, I just want to make sure I get everything right. So in addition to staking, in addition to all that good stuff, it will also offer, multi VM. So it'll be a multi virtual machine system. So basically decentralized virtual machines to support scalability and security of L2 infrastructure. Peer nodes. Peer nodes are very important. It's to perform fraud proofs. This is very exciting for us. Very important. Metis Explorer, so you'll be able to check all on-chain transactions if you know about like Etherscan.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing, except we're going to have it native. So we're not relying on Etherscan. It's going to be our own. We'll have a Metis bridge, a native bridge, so you can move assets around as you like. Polis, which is our middleware, which will eventually have smart contract templates for no-code integration. That will launch. We're going to have the first DAC template and dApps will be running on Metis Layer 2. And as you mentioned, staking and mining. So despite the fact that this is supposed to be only a preliminary launch, we're actually putting out quite a few features, which is why our tech team has not slept in about 3 months.
I feel like when I originally got into the project and started doing research, what I mapped out as the the timeline for the drops and stuff has actually been quite compressed. What you're releasing and how fast you're releasing it, which is a credit to the team of how hard they've been working, because there's no way that gets compressed without work.
We sort of like pushed it back and then compressed it, and there were a couple of reasons we pushed it back, but ultimately it came down to our tech team led by Yuan really wanted to just build and make sure that they put out the best product. If we come up with some half-assed product and Optimism and Arbitrum and everybody else is out there, this is our shot, right? We want to do right by it. And the other thing that happened very soon before we actually originally thought maybe we'll launch at this point is that both Arbitrum and Solana had major network outages. Well, that's unacceptable to us. We refuse to be hacked, DDoS, rugged, none of that stuff. We want everything to be butter smooth, super fast, super easy. Your grandma could do it, no problem. We went through a triple audit process during our testnet, which is unheard of. Nobody does this mania. As soon as we come out with Andromeda, we'll have bug bounties, like big bug bounties, because if we have bugs, we're going to snuff them out. Yeah. We're starting an insurance pool with Bridge Mutual, which I guess is alpha. We haven't publicly said this, but that will happen as well. Like, we are determined to maintain not only scalability and everybody makes money and lovely, but I mean the highest level of decentralization and security. If somebody loses 1 cent, we are going to be very, very upset about it. And so we're going to work our asses off to make sure that doesn't happen, because we care very much about assets, and we refuse to have people, end up getting hurt by this. We want to help people. It would be devastating if anybody lost even a penny.
Yeah, and mate, as a business owner, for me, being able, like I said, if I bring everything that I want on board into my DAC, and then the other people that I've already reached out to and what I'm building behind the scenes to correlate all that, and then I understand the tokenomics and the mining power and how it works. The more people that come on board your DAC, etc., like that. The last thing I would want as the DAC creator, within my company and my website and everything that I can introduce to bring people on board my DAC and distribute maybe more mining power awards to the community and to help grow, is for something to happen. And then, I lose my payroll, I lose all these things that I help my staff with. So, that to me as a business owner is it's
we wouldn't want to betray you. We consider you a friend, and you wouldn't want to betray your friends. That's how it is. If you take people to your favorite restaurant and you have the best steak ever and 11 of them get food poisoning, that was not a success. So, yeah.
No, perfect, mate. Mate, that's all I've got for it. So I want to smash through is just those 3 big points. And you've hit it on the head. I mean, I think you've dropped some alpha in this video as well.
I guess so. I think we're probably okay with all that stuff. I'm the CMO. I guess I could make. Oh, sorry, I can't say that. I'm the marketing lead. I guess I could make these decisions.
No, thank you very much, mate. So thanks very much for your time. This project's second to none in my opinion. I wish you all the best of luck going forward.
Oh, we appreciate it. And metis.io. And you can hit me up directly on Telegram at Jonah Metis. You can DM me. There will be sometimes that I'll try not to reply.
There'll be sometimes you're asleep. We can give you.
That's about it. But we've been talking now. You're like, mate, can we jump on? I'm like, give me 12 minutes. Just let me snarf down my dinner and then I'll go back to whatever. So yeah, but seriously, anybody could DM me. And of course, jump on our Telegram, which is t.me/. /Metis DAO. We've got a great group of moderators, and we're happy to help. And people who buy one token or whatever, or don't buy any tokens, they're just interested. We're happy to be there. Whatever. We really, really, really are grateful that people even know about us, let alone want to use our product and follow along with what we're doing. It's very exciting, and we're here for you guys.
Beautiful, mate. All right, thanks very much. I'll stop the video there. Everyone,
Cheers.
loves this video, share it around, give some Metis some love and support. Thanks very much for your time, Jonah.
Thanks for having me.